Hey everyone, I have a quick Christmas card to share with you today. I'm going to be using the Fawn Winter in the Park stamp set, which is one of the newer ones. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Tuxedo Black Memento ink to stamp the light post on just a piece of white cardstock. And then I'm going to stamp the bench in the rich cocoa memento ink. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment below that. I'm just going to use the Season's Greetings that comes in that stamp set. So I'm just going to be using one stamp set on the whole card today. And I'm going to use my Tuxedo Black ink for that also. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp some snowflakes around there. I'm just using various blues of Memento inks, so that's the Bahama blue, the brighter one. And then that lighter one, I think it's called Summer Sky. And then the darker blue. And then I'm just going to go ahead and stamp the snow that goes on top of the bench. I'm going to stamp it in my Memento black ink on a piece of white cardstock. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut that entire thing out. Sorry, that's a little off camera, but I just fussy cut around the edges of it, just leaving no white border around it, just right up to where the ink is. Okay, and then when I get that cut out, whenever I fussy cut images, I take my Memento marker and go around the edges of it so that there's no white, and then you can't really tell that you cut it out or if there's any mistakes. So I'm just taking a glue pen and gluing that on top of the bench so it looks like it snowed. And then I am taking some glossy accents. Make sure your bottle's unclogged. And then I'm going to cover the whole part of the snow. Sorry for my head getting in the way. So just make sure that the entire thing is covered. And then I'm going to use the dry distress glitter. It's the Clear Rock Candy. And I'm just going to pour that on top of the glossy accents. Excuse me. And then pour the excess back into the jar because you don't want to waste it. And then you can slightly tap it off in the garbage so that you get all of it off. And you can see how pretty and sparkly that is. And then I'm just going to round all the corners on this piece. And it'll take some time for the glossy accents to dry completely. So you're not going to want to send it in the mail right away or anything like that. So then I have a piece of blue pattern paper that is from My Mind's Eye, the 12 Days of Christmas 6x6 paper pad. So I'm just going to cut that down to fit on my A2 size card. It'll just be 1/4 inch smaller. And then that is going to go right on top of it. And I'm going to use some lace ribbon from American Crafts to go behind that. And I'm just going to cut it the same size that I cut my blue piece of pattern paper, which would be 5¼ inches. Actually, I'm going to do a little cheater method to try to save a little bit of ribbon. So I'm just going to cut 2 small pieces and put them on each side. And I just take my tape runner and put some adhesive right onto the paper and then stick the ribbon on top of it. And then I just trimmed off the edges. Okay, and just make sure that they're even, especially if you try to use the cheater way of doing it. And then I'm going to take some light blue twine from the twinery. It's called Shore. And I'm going to just I'm going to do 2 strands of it. And then adhere it, or tape it down to the back on each side. And it's just going to go right on top of the lace there. And then I'm going to tie a bow on the right hand side. And once I get that perfect, I'm going to adhere that down with some 3D pop dots. I like to do it on 4 corners, and then I do a couple in the middle, just to make sure there's no spots that sag down. Okay, and then adhere that down, and then make sure your bow is out and not behind it. And then I'm just going to add some glue down to my card base and attach it right onto there. So that is the finished card. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.